Tanya Steele, editor-in-chief of Epicurious.com, and you're watching Around the World in 80 Dishes. Today we're going to Sweden, and we're making Swedish meatballs. We're doing it with someone who is one of my absolute beloved instructors at the CIA.
Not Swedish, though.
Bruce Mattel. I don't think you're Swedish.
Nah.
No, I don't think so.
But I like Swedish food.
You do?
I do.
You know, we're such fans of yours, so anything you make, I'm going to love.
Oh, thanks.
It's true.
Thanks.
So let's start. So the first thing we're going to do is breadcrumbs, right?
Yes, and these are fresh white breadcrumbs, but you can use dried breadcrumbs, store-bought breadcrumbs. I would recommend that you don't use flavored breadcrumbs like Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, but yet these are made from white bread where the crust is trimmed off, and then the center is put into a food processor and just milled into crumbs.
I see.
So now that you have that, let that soak for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Now we're going to just pretty much blend the rest of the ingredients together, and they're all real simple. You're talking about just some minced onion, ground beef, egg, and spices, and then the breadcrumbs that have been soaked in milk. So really there's not a lot of labor that goes into these, because most people just will buy their meat already ground.
Right.
So put the meat first in the dish. And then, really, you could add all these other ingredients you see here and just blend it until it's really nice and homogeneous.
Okay, so
that's
all of the onions?
Yep.
White onions?
Mm-hmm. Yellow onion, white onion.
Red onions? Not really.
They're about twice the price, and it's not going to really pay off too well.
Okay. 1 egg?
Mm-hmm.
This is also how you can make a meatloaf doing this, right?
It's very similar. Actually, it's really extremely similar. This mixture is going to turn out to be very moist. As a matter of fact, when we roll up the balls, they're going to be pretty soft. And they might even flatten a bit in the pan, but that's very important because the softer and the more moisture that's in the meatball via the egg and the breadcrumbs soaked in milk, the better it's going to taste.
Oh.
The more tender it's going to be, the more moisture it's going to retain, and it's going to taste a lot better.
Okay.
So let's throw in these spices. We have.
What was that one?
That was black pepper.
Black pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And that is?
Allspice.
And what was this one?
That was mace.
Oh, mace. Okay.
And some salt.
And mace is one of those things that is used often in Scandinavian cooking, I believe.
I think so, yes. And it's the outer covering of the nutmeg is the mace.
I see, okay. So we're going to mix this up and then get our hands
You know
in
what?
there.
Yeah, get your hands in there.
That's the fun part.
And what I'm going to do is get a pan for us to actually put these on.
Okay. This is a great thing to do with kids, too.
Oh, yeah. They love that.
As long as you make sure they wash their hands before and after.
That's right.
If they're like my boys, then you got to scrub those hands.
That looks pretty good.
All right, so then how much do we take?
So we're going to just make like 1-inch balls. So you could pretty much eye it.
Okay.
If you wanted to, you could also use a little scoop, like a 1.5 ounce scoop.
Okay.
And then you could take those scoops and put them out on a sheet pan, and then you could go back and just roll them around, and they'd be more uniform. But since we're professional, we can pretty much eye it pretty.
Well, I can say that what I have just done is make basically an American meatball, and I see that I've made it way too big, so I'm going to bring mine down a little bit, because Swedish meatballs are pretty small.
Yeah, they are. They should be like maybe 1 to 2 bites or so.
Okay.
And another thing that should be considered is that once heat is applied, they're going to just shrink a bit.
Oh, okay.
So not too much, but a little bit. Well, once we get about 12 of them together, what I'm going to do is start to cook them off.
Okay.
And
I'll keep making these puppies.
You can keep making them. I'll give you the hard job.
All right.
I'm going to switch with you.
Okay.
So we're using whole butter to brown these off, and we don't want to do that on really, really, really high heat, because what'll happen is, because it's whole butter, it has the milk solids in there.
Right.
It could burn fairly easily. So we're going to use like kind of medium heat. Actually, we're going to put about 3/4 of the butter in there at one time.
So generally you want to cook these on a medium the whole way?
Medium to high, I would say so, yes.
Okay.
And you want to, when we put them in the pan, we want to first roll them around, let them sit there for a little bit and get brown on one side. And then rather than handle them roughly with the tongs or so, we might just try to roll them around to get them brown that way, so that it's a little bit more of a gentler approach. So now that the butter's nice and foamy and it's starting to take on just the slightest bit of color, I'm going to put in a batch of these meatballs. And what we're going to do, we're going to allow them to brown off a little bit. We don't want to crowd the pan, so there's no reason why you can't do these in batches.
Now, the reason why you don't want them to crowd the pan is that you're then steaming the food. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. You're trapping. I'm going to turn down the heat a little now that the butter's getting a little brown. So smells good already, right?
Yeah, it does. So this is like an 8 to 10 minute cook-off, right, for these?
I would say about 10 minutes or so. Now that I have some in the pan, I'm actually going to raise the heat just a bit because I have lowered the temperature when I put those in. And like I said, I'm going to let them actually brown on one side and then just shake them around or so. See how that just turned over by itself and we're getting nice color on there?
Okay, Chef, so we've browned all the meatballs. Now what do we do?
Now we're going to make the sauce and then return the meatballs back to the sauce. So you want to add the rest of the butter. After the meatballs came out, we assessed the fat that's in the pan, made sure that the pan didn't have any burnt material or anything that would not really contribute to the dish. But some of that browned off fond, we call it, will just really enhance the flavor of the sauce. And then what you want to do is take the flour here, dump it in, and use the whisk to, if you'd like, to work it smooth.
Okay, so we're doing kind of a roux type of thing?
That's exactly what we're doing. We're making a little bit of a roux. And then once you have that worked in where there's no visible lumps like that, we're going to slowly add the chicken stock to this. And you can turn up the heat now.
And you can be chicken stock or chicken broth?
Chicken broth, chicken stock.
Okay.
So you see how we're thickening up there? What we're going to do is just add a pinch more salt.
Okay.
So once that simmers for a minute or two, you're going to just put in one of the most important ingredients, and that's the sour cream.
That's another thing that makes it very Scandinavian.
Exactly.
Is the sour cream.
Okay, let's turn this down.
Okay.
Let's add the sour cream. I like to watch you cook. I'm always the one that has to cook. It's very nice when somebody else.
It's so true. It's very relaxing for me when I watch other people cook.
And you want to, again, whisk that pretty smooth, best as you can. Now, you don't want to overcook that because the sour cream, you don't want to give it a chance to separate.
Yeah.
So as soon as we see a little bit of a simmer, we're going to add the meatballs back, coat them, and just plate up.
All right.
How's that sound?
That sounds amazing.
Good. That looks good.
Okay. Should we dump these puppies?
Yeah. I'll hold them for you.
All right. There we go.
And I'll take the whisk from you, and you can maybe use that big spoon and just toss them around to get them reheated.
Do you think we're ready?
I think we're ready.
Okay. Maybe I'll do 2 more, and then we can each have 17 to ourselves. I'll have this. That's for you.
I need more than that. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, let's...
Want to taste?
Let's see.
All right, excellent.
Oh, should we try some lingonberry sauce?
Sure.
That's another thing that is traditional accompaniment, right? Lingonberry sauce? Because lingonberries are...
Lingonberries are very, very typical of food from Scandinavia. They also use another berry called brambleberry.
Oh.
It's good.
They have that in England, brambleberry, it's very hard to say.
Let's see, I'm going to go this route. Is it good?
So good. It's so moist. That's one of the problems with my meatballs is they're always so dry. These are moist.
The egg and the soaked breadcrumbs with the milk.
That's the Swedish meatball, right? That's what they used to say. Well, Chef Mattel, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
What a beautiful dish to make. Everyone in your family will love it.
Even my little boy would love it,
Yeah.
I think.